All right, let's get into it. Today, we're exploring a really fascinating and, I think, often misunderstood district of Seoul. We're going to take a deep dive into Gangbuk-gu, a place that's really defined by its granite mountains, its democratic history, and a future that is, right now, being completely rewritten.
So let's start with the name, which seems pretty straightforward, right? You break it down and you get gang, which means river. We're talking about the Han River, of course. Then buk, which means north, and ku, that's just the word for district. Put it all together and you get River North District. Simple.
Yeah, you can probably guess the answer to that. While the name tells you where it is, it really doesn't tell you what it is. That's just scratching the surface. The real story, the real identity of this place is way more complex than that.
To really get what Gangbuk is all about, you have to start with the two things that it's built on, its absolute foundation, the incredible geography and its deep, powerful history. And these aren't just, background details. They are the soul of the district.
Think about this. Unlike the wide, flat plains you see in southern Seoul, Gangbuk's whole identity is literally carved out of the landscape. It's a district of steep hills, with neighborhoods that basically climb right up the sides of the massive Bukhansan mountain range. This isn't just a pretty view, it shapes everything about life here.
And this timeline, wow, it really shows you just how fast things changed. You go from these quiet little rural villages to being at the very center of a democratic revolution in 1960. Then, boom, a huge wave of urbanization hits, with people pouring in and building communities on those hills. It doesn't even officially become its own district until 1995. And now it's ground zero for these enormous redevelopment plans. It is just a dizzying pace of change.
And that history from 1960, that isn't some dusty old story. Gangbuk is actually home to the National April 19th Democratic Cemetery. This is the final resting place for the students, the heroes who died fighting against the dictatorship. It's this incredibly powerful, living symbol of Korea's fight for democracy.
So it makes perfect sense that this is the official motto, a city of history, culture, and nature. It's not just a nice-sounding phrase, it's a very deliberate way of saying, we are all of these things at once. It weaves together that incredible natural landscape with this profound modern history.
Okay, so we've got the mountains and the memory. But how does that foundation actually shape day-to-day life? Let's zoom in a bit and look at the real character of the people who call Gangbuk home today.
Well, for starters, the connection to nature here is just undeniable. Bukhansan National Park, people call it the green lungs of Seoul, takes up a huge chunk of the district's land. And it's not just that. You've got these other massive green spaces like the North Seoul Dream Forest and the Uidong Valley, which is always full of hikers. It's an amazing escape right inside a megacity. But on the flip side of that beautiful nature, you have this much grittier, very real urban landscape. And if you've ever seen the movie Parasite, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The steep, narrow alleyways, the red brick buildings, the semi-basement apartments. That aesthetic is pure Gangbuk in a lot of the older areas. Now look at this number, 20% plus. This is absolutely crucial to understanding the district. So what is it? This is the percentage of residents in Gangbuk-gu who are 65 or older. That makes it the district with the highest elderly population in all of Seoul. And that single number really helps paint the rest of the picture. The community here is largely working class. There's a high number of single-person households, a lot of them elderly folks. And a huge reason for this demographic is pretty simple: affordability. It's still one of the most affordable places to live in the entire city. Now, you might hear Gangbuk called a bed town, a place where people just sleep and then commute somewhere else for work. But that's not the whole story. It has its own vibrant economic pulse. The area around Suyu Station is this bustling hub of shops, restaurants, and nightlife. You've got the Suyu Market, which is just massive. And then tucked away in the back alleys are all these little sewing workshops that are a critical part of Seoul's huge fashion industry. So all of this brings us to right now, to the central tension that's defining the district today. It's a neighborhood that's truly at a crossroads, caught in this battle between holding on to its unique past and racing toward a very, very different future. And the main force driving this change? It's these massive urban renewal plans. Huge projects with names like Newtown and Moatown that are designed to do one thing: tear down the old, low-rise homes on the hillsides and put up shiny, new, high-rise apartment towers in their place.
What's so fascinating is how this push for redevelopment is shaking up the whole political landscape. See, Gangbuk has always been a progressive stronghold, reliably voting for the Democratic Party. But now, as homeowners start to see the potential for their property values to shoot up, conservative candidates are gaining ground. They're promising to cut regulations and speed up that redevelopment. It's become this classic conflict between long-held identity and economic hope. And that leaves us with this final, really critical question. It's the challenge that every resident, every developer, and every city planner is facing. As the bulldozers and cranes start to move in, is it possible for Gangbuk to build a new, modern future without completely wiping away the unique history and memory that are literally etched into its hills?